Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm grateful that you chose to hang out with me here again on Wisdom on Wednesday. And I'm Ray. Happy that you chose to spend a little bit of time with me. Happy that you chose to stay with us, to learn what's going on, to possibly intersect some thoughts, to grow as we continue to move through this wisdom journey. Appreciate the comments, appreciate the shares, appreciate the forwards, the tagging me in your posts. Thank you. Wisdom on Wednesday is moving. The community is growing. And I'm grateful for your work, for us continuing to do this wisdom thing together. Today, as per usual, had an opportunity to spend some time with the Lord. Some things just dropped in my spirit. I thought about sharing today, and we'll see how it goes. So wise people, learn to be your own gardener. Wise people, you're going to have to learn to be your own gardener. As things continue to grow, as things continue to change, as fear continues to loom throughout the nation, throughout the world, depending on which news outlet you listen to, many things a lot of people are afraid, a lot of people are nervous. But one thing that has taken off is there's people who have really grown an affinity to growing their own food. They've bought some seeds, they've trusted some soil, and they've learned how to do the work. And that's important because now people are nervous about what's in their food, where their food come from. And now they have the confidence to know that they know exactly what's going in their body because they put it there, because they planted it, because they watered it, and they tended to it. And as they were planting, as they were watering, and they tended to it, they were able to actually learn the process that they've been paying for, something that they have within themselves. And I thought about that and I said, wow, what confidence would it be to be able to go out and grow your own food? The confidence that you can have in preparing food with confidence to give your children, give your husband, give your wife something that you grew from your backyard. And I thought about that. I said, that's amazing. What if we can actually take that same responsibility and live our lives according to the discipline of a gardener? You see, a gardener has to make certain that the soil is prepared properly for the seed to take proper roots. And if the soil is not prepared, it will actually impede the growth of that particular seedling. So if the seedling is put in dirt that's prepared for it from a gardener's perspective, the gardener has to go and get the obstacles out of the way. There's obstacles in our lives each and every day that inhibits us from growing. Now, unfortunately, many of us share the same type of obstacles. Undiscipline is an obstacle that keeps us from growing. You see, motivation is amazing. Motivation gets you out of the bed, gets you sprung in the direction of where you want to go. But motivation wears off. But discipline will take you to spaces that your body doesn't want to go, but it'll allow you to go to that determined place because of discipline. You see, discipline will allow you to go to the gym at 5 a.m. Discipline will allow you to eat those things that is good for your body, not necessarily what tastes good. Discipline will make you come home when it's easier to hang out and have a good time with no responsibilities. Discipline will allow you to continue to have those hard conversations regardless of worrying about the outcome or how they'll be received. Discipline will allow us to continue to take care of the things that God has already given us and be good stewards over those things. You see, it takes discipline to be a gardener. You see, a gardener has a purpose of growth. And if you have growth on your mind, you have to be disciplined. And if you're not disciplined, that means that weeds can come and they can impede the growth of your seedling. You see, a master gardener has to be on the lookout for all types of things that's going to interfere with the growth of that seed. They have to look out for weeds. They have to look out for vermin. They have to look out for insects. They have to make certain that they protect that seed. Why? Because growth is the ultimate agenda. And if you don't have growth on your mind, you might as well don't be a gardener. So it's hard to really say, I want to be the gardener of my life, meaning that I have to protect myself from the obstacles that's keeping me from growing. I have to get some of the big stones out of my ground, out of my soil, because the stones of my past are impeding me from going into my future. There's several other things a gardener has to pay attention to. A gardener has to make certain that the soil has enough nutrients in it, but sometimes that seedling needs some fertilizer. And I like the acronym sugar honey iced tea for fertilizer, because fertilizer has growth potential, but fertilizer don't smell so good. Fertilizer is stinky. Fertilizer makes you feel like I need this to grow, but I would rather not have it. There's some experiences in our lives, wise people, that we don't like the way we feel. We don't like the situation. We don't like how this thing makes me feel, but ultimately it's necessary to help us grow. There are some conversations that we don't want to have, but they're necessary. There are some people that need to be confronted. They're not comfortable, but they're necessary. There are some apologies that we owe some people. We got to eat that pride and do those things. It's not comfortable, but it's necessary. You see, sugar honey iced tea is not something that's pleasing to what our nostrils like, but it's necessary for that seed inside of us to grow. It's necessary for that seedling to have some fertilizer to help it grow into the thing that's inside. You see, that seedling has potential that none of us can see unless it's properly put in an environment that's conducive for growth. And just because growth is the agenda, we can't run from confrontation. We can't run from discomfort. We can't run from misunderstanding, because all of those things work together for the good for them that love God and are called according to his purpose. All those things work together for our growth. You see, nobody recognizes growth until they start seeing the fruit of your growth. Nobody sees a tree growing. Nobody sees grass growing, but you can recognize when it's too long. You can recognize the apples falling off the tree. You can recognize all types of things at the end of the journey, but sometimes in the middle of the journey, wise friends, it's so frustrating. It's so hard. It's difficult because it's hard to measure growth. It's hard to know you're in a growth season, but rest assured, when you are gardening your life, you're putting that seed into safe soil. You're taking all the impediments out of that soil so you can grow. You're adding fertilizer. You're allowing fertilizer to remain so you can grow. And finally, that gardener has to make certain that water is provided to that seed. Because if you put it in good soil, put it with good fertilizer, combined with the sun, it's going to burn up. So you got to add water so it can grow. You got to add water, some things that you really can't control. It's so funny about water. You pour water in any direction, it's going to find somewhere to go. Water doesn't really need you to tell it where to go. You just got to pour it and water will go where it's necessary. So when you pour water into that seed, those vines that are growing, those roots that are growing from that seedling will seek out and find water for nutrients. There's things in our lives that we are looking in the wrong directions, that we're growing roots in places that we've been removed from. There's no water there. We're still expecting things from people who can't give us what we need. We're still expecting things from a place that no longer promotes. We're still expecting the outcome that was never designed for this particular seed. Sometimes we've got to uproot that seed when you're a good gardener and put it in a place where it can grow, because the water is plentiful, because the fertilizer is plentiful, because the seed has no impediments. So sometimes when you got to grow, sometimes you got to go. And when you're in that season, you don't run too fast. Make certain that your roots can actually take being uprooted, because if you move a seed too fast, it may die. If you're in the process of growing, don't run away from the growth pains. Don't run away from the things that you need to help you be who you need to be. But ultimately, you've got to pay attention to the season that you're in. Every master gardener knows how to talk to his plants, knows how to talk to her plants, how to talk to the seeds. Let the seeds know that I see your growth. Sometimes we got to line ourselves up in the mirror and speak to ourselves and say, I see your growth. I see who you are through the tears. I see where you've come from. You may not look like everybody else, but you have come a mighty long way. I'm so proud of you today. You stood up for yourself on your job. You stood up for yourself in your family. You stood up for yourself in your church. I'm so proud of you. You've come a long way. So every master gardener knows how to speak a calm, still voice to its seedlings, because they know that that seed needs to hear you're doing a good job to continue to grow. Now, here's the best part about a gardener. A gardener knows how to watch the growth of the seed, but also knows how to pay attention when there's too much growth. You see, a master gardener knows when it's pruning season. When it's pruning season, you have to make sure you understand that growth is still the agenda. So sometimes you've got to pay such close attention to that seed to make certain that it doesn't have overgrowth. And every now and then, a master gardener has to go and prune. You see, pruning is painful, but it is necessary. If you don't have pruning in your life, that means that you're going to overgrow and sometimes have an overinflated opinion of yourself. So it's important to garden yourself, to make certain that you're planting the right seeds in yourself. Make sure you're in the right situation, whether it's sugar, honey, iced tea, we'll call it fertilizer, and make certain you're watering your seed. But ultimately, you've got to make certain that you remain humble, that you got to cut away that extra foliage. You got to cut away the things that may be growing that may take away from the things that should remain. What's growing in your life that should be cut away? Is there pride? Is there unforgiveness? Is there an arrogance there? Some things that's impeding your growth, because it's time to cut it away. And my ask of you today is, are you prepared to put your gloves on, to get your knees dirty and get in the soil and continue to be the gardener that you need to yourself? No longer depending on people giving you a word, no longer dependent on people encouraging you and making you feel better. You're going to have to take control of your life to make certain you're putting the right things in your spirit so you can continue to grow and be who you've been called to be. Because if you leave your dietary supplements up to someone else, you don't know what they're putting inside of you. But if you learn how to sow your own seeds, if you learn how to plant your own seeds, put them in the right soil. You got to learn how to inspect the soil to know if you're in a good ground ministry. You got to learn how to make certain that the right fertilizer is helping me grow. That discomfort is not spiritual warfare, but this discomfort is allowing me to learn how to apologize. This discomfort is allowing me how to be patient. This discomfort is allowing me how to learn how to be in a long-suffering situation. This discomfort is allowing me to see God through all my situations. So while you're learning to be a master gardener to your own life, continue to smile and continue to talk to the plants inside of you, the growth inside of you, that little girl, that little boy who's never heard an encouraging word from people you expected it from. We're going to unburden ourselves today. If the people that you expected to tell you that they're proud of you and you never heard it, I'm going to tell you today. Are you ready? I'm so proud of you, because you've been through things that nobody you would imagine that you would escape from. I'm so proud of you that you gave your life to Christ and you turned your back on that dead self. I'm so proud of you because you made an attempt to live the way that God would have you to live. You made mistakes, but you didn't stay down. I'm so proud of you. Now, I want you to practice and learn how to encourage yourself, just like David did every day when you feel like people don't understand you. When people look like they don't appreciate you, I need you to start learning how to take care of your own seeds. I need you to be the master gardener of your life. You no longer can depend on anybody else watering your seeds. You no longer can depend on anybody else coming and cutting away the foliage in your life. You've got to take full control over what God has put inside of you. I'm looking forward to the testimonies in the comments. I'm looking forward to see what God's about to do with you. Nobody knows what's going to come out of that seed in your life. So I guarantee, if you put it in the right soil, if you allow the right fertilizer to remain, if you water it and you talk to that thing and you cut away the extra, I'm so excited to see what God's going to allow you to be. I pray that this word was encouraging to you. It certainly was encouraging for me. I want you to never forget that God loves you more than you can possibly imagine. This is Ray with Wisdom on Wednesday. Have a wonderful day and a blessed week. Take care.